Exactly, a virtual tour.
Virtual tour.
Listen, I wanted to ask you first about coronavirus and the protocols. It's a really difficult subject, and it's really difficult for everybody involved. But we've been told that the Premier League are going to be holding meetings with every manager and every captain over the next coming days to kind of try and hammer home those protocols, really. And one of the big issues, I think, is players celebrating goals and that sort of thing. Listen, it's really difficult. What do you make of all of this? Is there anything more that can be done? And how big a problem do you see players celebrating is?
I think, Rob, it's something that, of course, everyone has the best interest to try and ensure that whatever we're doing, it's keeping everyone as safe as we possibly can be. I know you mentioned protocols. There's so much great work that's going on within the clubs. We have seen certain behaviours that have dropped, the standard, but overall, I think all clubs put a lot of hard work, and there is a lot of work going on behind the scenes to ensure that at this time, which is very, very tough, we're privileged to work in the job that we are, that allows us to work. But there's millions of people throughout the country that are suffering. They're suffering with probably the mental health, with the anxiety that this virus has brought. And for us, we want to do everything we can, not just for football, but also for people that are getting some form of relief from it. So everyone in football, managers, coaches, players, staff, we all want to do everything that we possibly can to keep football going, because, like I say, in a really tough time, we want to support everyone and give them some sort of joy in their life. But of course, for players, they're going to make mistakes. I think that's what's important. But what you find is if they make a mistake through celebrating a goal, it's an honest mistake. They're not. It's just something that is instinct and has been instinct probably for as long as they've ever known. But we also understand that we want to help this situation as well, and if it means not being able to celebrate goals, then that's something that we have to, of course, we have to look at and speak about. But like I say, players and managers and coaches will also make mistakes as well, but they are honest mistakes, and it's something that we will do everything we can to, if it helps them, we will look to do it for sure.
Good man, thank you. Can I ask you about the team news? Let's go through them each in turn. Dennis Pratt first. How's his hamstring? Is it? Go on, update us.
Yeah. No, Dennis will be up to 3 months, we think, which is a huge blow for us. It was an awkward one for him at the time. The ball just popped up and he overstretched, and not quite his hamstring. It was a tendon in the hamstring, which obviously we need to ensure that his recuperation is as best as possibly can be. So he'll be out for a while, which is not so good for us. Django should be back with us this weekend, which is great news. Ricky Pereira also, so that's great for us as well. And probably a bit like Cags, we just have to get him back step by step. But he's training with the team now and looking very good.
Presumably with Ricardo, you've got to bring him. You couldn't get 90 minutes straight out of him. Is it got to be some sort of stage return for him a little bit in terms of game time?
Yeah, well, we don't need to rush it, especially having him broke down before. So, but he's worked very hard with the medical team, Rob, and he's gone through all the tests and all the measures to get out. He's been training with the squad now for a little while, and we'll be able to get him close to the squad now, and then it's just a bit step by step, giving him some game time and getting him back on the field. But there's no big rush with him.
Vardy and Maddison, you managed to give them both a bit of a rest in the FA Cup because you said they had long-term niggles, I suppose. What's the situation with them? Has that helped? Are they ready to go?
Yeah, both those players will be available. It wasn't so much a rest; it was one where they actually they couldn't play, or if they did play, there was going to be huge risk for them. So they've had ongoing issues over the course of the season, unfortunately, and that was a game that we seen the window to to get some medical work done with them, knowing that we've got other players that can play. So, but that's worked well for us. They've rejoined the group this week, so they'll be available for the weekend.
Good stuff. Can I ask you about Islam Slimani, who's now left the club after a difficult time for him and for the football club? I think it's a case where both sides have almost cut their losses a little bit and moved on, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was right for both parties. I have to say, and it's a great credit to him. And all the time I've been here, and any time I've worked with Slim, he's been a model professional. It's very, very tough for him. He was coming in a few years ago. You get Jamie, who's one of the best strikers in world football, and he's in to compete with him. And he's a senior player. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to get the game time that he would want. Spent a few periods out on loan. Then he's come back to here, and for these last numbers of months, he's been first class. He featured early on for me when we had some injuries, but even when he wasn't, his attitude was superb. Always come in every day with a smile, behaved immaculately, and like I say, he's now an opportunity to go to Lyon, which is a great club in France. 18 months there, and go and hopefully play some games. So yeah, it was a move that worked well for both.
That injury to Dennis Pratt that you mentioned, does that alter your thinking when it comes to Hamza Chowdhury and whether you might want to keep him this month?
Yeah, it's certainly something we have to look at. We're not in a rush to move Hamza out. We respect that we get some players that will be a bit further away from playing and may want to get some game time, which I get that and I understand that, and that's something that, because of how the guys are every day, I want to support and help that as well. But I also have to look after the squad and make sure that we have the right bodies here to do the job and finish what will be a busy second part to the season for us. So yeah, there's been inquiries for Hamza, but like I say, we're not in any big rush at the moment until we see where the squad is going to be at.
Good man. Last one from me. I know you've said it's going to be quiet on the incomings front. Is there anything you can tell us about that? I mean, is it a case of, if any, you started to smile already. I'm not going to throw names at you, don't worry. But it's more a case of, what is the position? Is it if somebody comes along that's a decent deal that you've been watching for a while, that's better than what you've got, or really do you expect nothing?
I think it's something, Rob, like probably most teams, you don't want to just bring in players to pad out the squad. Finances are very tough for every team, and we're no different. But if there was something that was going to improve us, then of course I'm fairly confident that the ownership would look at that. So, but as I said, we've got a really strong squad. We always want to improve and we always want to develop. But like I say, it's more on availability this window. It's the types of players that can improve us may not be available in January. So I think, as I've said before, it'll be pretty quiet, but we'll assess it. There's still a bit to go.
Thanks for your time, mate. Appreciate it.
Cheers, Rob. Thank you.
Okay, Ian from PLP, please. Hello, Brendan. We spoke to Mark Albrighton, earlier today, and he was talking about the idea that these next two matches and the week you've got coming up could be potentially one of the most important weeks of your season. I know the old adage is always that the next game's the most important, but in the context of your campaign, how do you see these next two games?
Well, they're important games, but you said it yourself, my focus is purely on the Southampton game. This will be a tough examination for us. You see the last result, you see the games that they've played, they're always in tight games. They get very good players. So it's it'll be a big test for us. But yeah, it's still, we're not even as at the halfway point. So it's one where I'm pretty calm and relaxed and pleased with where we're at this stage of the season, amidst all the games and everything that we've had and with injury and whatnot. But yeah, I've been excited watching the team these last few weeks. Our last FA Cup game, I was really pleased with the performance level, and we hope that can continue for the rest of the season.
Considering some of the results you've had at home in the Premier League so far this season, what sort of an opportunity is Southampton and Chelsea to set the record straight and build from here?
Not every game is the opportunity, whether it's home or away. I think that, of course, our away form has been very, very good, and we've played well at home. And in certain games, we haven't been near our level. It's as simple as that. But like I say, this is a tough game for us, but it's also an opportunity for us. You know, we know it's going to be really competitive, which is what we want. They're a good side, so the focus has to be really clear and which the players are ready for. And then, like I say, we see where it takes us.
Southampton obviously in a good position like yourselves. They've had a great season and some real standout results as well. What is it about Ralph Hasenhüttl's side that impresses you the most?
Well, they're very well organised. You can see their organisation. You know, they want to play on the front foot. They want to defend forward. They want to press the game. And it doesn't surprise me. Obviously, one, when I analyse them and I can see the qualities, but also two, I've said before, I look at the quality of the players that they have. You know, you can go through the team. Alex McCarthy, I know very well. He's a very, very good goalkeeper who plays. Ryan Bertrand is a Champions League winner and spent his career at the top level and was an England international player. You know, Walker Peters on the other side. He's come in and settled in very quickly, but because he's a very good player and he's played in the Premier League, he can do that. Jack Stevens, I've seen as a young player coming through, and again, he's acquitted himself very well in the Premier League. He's good on the ball. He wants to defend. Ward-Prowse in midfield's got great quality. Stuart Armstrong, I know very, very well. He's a winner. He's got power. He wants to score. Theo Walcott, you know, played at the highest level, wants to score goals. And Danny Ings, I know very, very well. You know, his movement's terrific, can link the game, can run in behind, and he can finish. So you just have to look at just that group of players themselves. There's not rocket science. They're very well organised, got an excellent manager, and they work very hard. And if you put that alongside the quality, it makes them a very good team.
Thank you, Brendan.
Cheers.
Okay, James from TalkSport, please.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, James.
Brendan, Southampton have had the benefit of having a weekend off after the FA Cup game was called off last weekend. I just wonder if you think that added freshness that they may have could have some sort of effect on the game on Saturday.
I don't think so. No, I think it's one where Ralph would probably rather have played and kept the rhythm in the team. But no, we obviously played, and then we were able to have a good week of periodised work and be ready for the game. So I think you'll have two teams fresh and ready and looking forward to a very good game, hopefully.
And naturally, when Leicester play Southampton, people think about that 9-0 result. And a lot of the talk after that is about how Southampton have had a revival and grown since then. But what have you been most impressed about from your point of view with how Leicester have developed since that game?
I think our consistency, we, throughout the time, that's one of the things we've been looking for. I think we've shown potential as a young squad. But each week goes by, the players are improving, the mindset's improving all the time, and the quality of our game. And then I've always said that in my time here, I felt that the consistency would come with time working together. And I've been very pleased with that. I'm sure Ralph was absolutely sick to the teeth of getting reminded about the Leicester game. I'm pretty sure, it can happen. Obviously, it was a historical night for us. It was a disappointing night for them. But both teams, you continue with your work, and they've shown what a really good side they are, and they've shown the toughness of the manager and the players. And we've continued to progress and work well and be competitive at the top of the table. There was different stories for both teams on the night, but both teams have been able to go away and continue to work well.
We saw Iosi Perez play in that false 9 position against Stoke, and he performed well. Do you see that now as an option you may look to use a little bit more if and when Jamie does have to sit out?
Yeah, it's an option for us. It was right for that specific game because of how we felt Stoke would play. He allows us to play and have that extra man in midfield. But it's important you still have good runners and people getting beyond the last line. So, but Ayo is a player that he's comfortable in that position. He's played as a striker. He's played just off the side from the inside. No, he's a very talented player. He really linked the game so well for us last week and scored a good goal. So I was really pleased with Ayo's performance.
And just finally for me, Brendan, it is Liverpool against Manchester United on Sunday, first against second. Do you see those two sides being the main title contenders, or do you think it's still a really open title race at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's one way. Look, as I said, we're not even at the halfway point. And I think you've seen the nature of the season. It's unique in every aspect, without the supporters and with everything with the pandemic. But no, the points, it's all tight. It's all very, very close. And it's up to, everyone will look at Liverpool and Manchester United and Manchester City and Chelsea and these teams. And it's up to the rest of us to keep working away and try and be as competitive as we can for as long as we can.
Thanks, Brendan.
Cheers, thank you.
Ian, straight, please.
Hi, Brendan. I hope you're able to hear me.
Hi, Ian. Yeah, can hear you.
Thank you. As well, you know by now, Brendan, I hope I'm a sentimental old sausage. And I make this game against Southampton Kasper Schmeichel's 400th competitive game for Leicester City Football Club. He's clearly played in the Championship, where at times it looked a bit of a struggle, and he's gone up to play Champions League football. He's won the Premier League. It's been an incredible 400 games for Kasper. I wonder whether you're happy to speak to him about the player that you've discovered, and about the player that at the moment you're standing captain.
Yeah, I suppose my feeling on Kasper, I've always seen him from the outside looking in. Played against him when I was at Swansea and he was at Leeds as a young keeper. He was always going to be compared with his father. He was one of the world's best keepers, and that for a young guy and his son is not easy. But I think it really shows you how tough he is mentally. That he was probably always renowned as Peter Schmeichel's son, but now he's warranted all the praise for himself because of the career that he's had. And I see him, he's so passionate about the game. He loves football. He prepares himself so well. And his devotion and his mentality has really seen him excel at the very highest level. And like you say, from a young player who's went on loan in Scotland to playing at Champions League level, to have over 50 caps for Denmark, and he doesn't get tired every day of doing the right things. So I can't speak highly enough of him. He's very vocal. His spirit's very strong, and he wants to win. And so he's been a brilliant goalkeeper for me in my time here, and obviously for the other managers before that.
He 31% clean sheet ratio in the 126 he's kept in his 399, saved 13 of 56 penalties. An obvious statement, Brendan, may be, but in 2021, so much more is asked of goalkeepers. Is shot stopping his best trait as a goalkeeper? And if so, how fundamental is that as a start? Because, we sweeper keepers and the ability to do different things, but shot stopping is Kasper's seemingly fundamental. Just how good a shot stopper is he?
Well, ultimately, Ian, that is your job as a goalkeeper. I think that the game has evolved with the back pass rule and teams building up more from behind. For me, Kasper, from knowing him as a young keeper, you always knew he could kick the ball nearly the full length of the pitch, but you can also see how good he is with his feet. But ultimately, a goalkeeper needs to stop the ball going in the net. You can be as good as you want with your feet. You can serve the ball, pass the ball short, long, medium range. But if you can't make saves, and that's the beauty of Kasper, his concentration level so high, he makes saves. But when you need him to participate in the game, to be that extra player from behind, he can do that. And his courage and bravery to do it is also important, and that's what makes him one of the top keepers in the Premier League.
What's he like as a man?
Yeah, he's a real good guy. He's someone, like I say, he comes in, he's super professional. He's always here to do his work. He loves training. You know, it's one of the things that I would say for him. He's not a keeper who's, you know, into his 30s now and doesn't want to do a great deal. You know, he pushes himself to the limit every day. He's a great inspiration for the other goalkeepers, also too, some of our young players. He's got some old school values there, which I really like, you know, because the young modern player coming through, they need that education. But what I also like, he's very, very competitive. You know, he wants to win. He wants to win every game in training. He takes that into the game, and he tries to maximise his career. So yeah, he's been a huge help for me coming in. A good guy, a good man, and fantastic player.
34 years old, Brendan. Can you see him finishing his career at Leicester City?
Yeah, I think he's obviously ambitious. You know, coming to the likes of the training ground here is, you know, makes him really happy. Having been here for such a long time, seeing the club evolve and now come into a world-class training facility is great for the likes of him, because he sees the ambition of the club and he will feel that, you know, all the ambitions that he has, that he can have those here at Leicester City.
Thank you for answering on Kasper. I've got one on the transfer market. Rob said that he was way too kind to put names to you. Evidently, I'm not today. Edouard at Celtic. Brendan, is he a player you're interested in, or indeed a player you could be interested in this transfer window?
Yeah, I thought you would maybe ask and put names to it, Ian. But listen, you know, I'll probably say back. There's lots of names, and of course, linked with coming to here. I know Watson because I'd signed him for Celtic when I was there, so I know the level of play, the player that Celtic have. But for us, I said before, and I repeat, that there won't be a great deal of business going on here. Economically, it's tough for us, and like I say, also the availability for players as well. But over the course of the next coming weeks, if there's anything that we think can help improve us, and if it can be done, I'm sure the club will do everything they possibly can.
Brendan, as ever, appreciate your time. Good luck against Southampton.
Cheers. Thanks, Ian. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to our broadcast colleagues. We'll end the broadcast section there, and we'll move into the written